This land is so important but valuable because I would say it's not only got its principles, but it belongs to the oldest living continuous culture in the world. Country to me means everything. Beautiful birds that you might be hearing, and our very special bird is Bunjil the eagle, who is our creator spirit. And the plants, they're just amazingly everywhere, but unfortunately through the devastation of country we've lost a lot of them, but we've found a way to regrow, so that regeneration is coming forward. Got all these wonderful grasses, all these beautiful things that have connection to the waterways, that also make sure that the land can continue to grow. The Wurundjeri people speak the Woi Wurrung language, and Woi Wurrung means Woi, as in no lips, and Arang is the speech.
My name is Lewis Brown. I descend from the Dja Dja Wurrung people, or the Jara people. I am part of the Nelson family group. As well as that, I have connections to Yorta Yorta and Gundi Chamara. And part of Gundi Chamara, I'm part of the clan group called the Kirai Wurrung. Dja Dja Wurrung directly translates to is yes, yes language. Dja Dja means yes, yes. And Wurrung means to speak, use your mouth, and the action of using your mouth. It's just so exciting to go onto Dja Dja Wurrung country. Different habitats and different landscapes, especially places like Mount Franklin. The traditional name for Mount Franklin is Lalganbrook, and it's a volcano that erupted 500,000 years ago, and there are many dreaming stories about it, but it has been a significant ceremonial place for the Jara people. I think that if there is an opportunity to go out on country, try to look for Mount Franklin or Lalganbrook and go in the centre and just sort of spin around, listen to the birds, listen to the animals, and take in the magnificent views.
My name is Professor Julie Andrews. I'm descended from the Wurundjeri, Yorta Yorta and Wiradjuri people. My role here at La Trobe University is Academic Director of Indigenous Research. The language at the Shepparton area and surrounding areas is called Yorta Yorta language. Our people survived government control and policies and being put on Aboriginal reserves and missions. We survived the missionaries who forbade us to practice our culture and speak our language, and then we had to endure government control on government missions where the children were taken away from our families and turned into domestic servants or farmhands. And our resilience and our resistance and political activism as a people was huge back then, at that time, and it continues today.
Hello, my name is Ivan Johnson. I'm a Barkindji person. I'm also a school teacher. I work at Munga National Park as a voluntary worker. When we welcome people, we say in our language, Nai Nungu, Wimpicha, Mupamali, Nai Akira. That means, hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to country, so welcome. On this side of the river, which is the New South Wales side of, on the border, it's mainly spoken of Barkindji language. Inji means people, so Barkindji means people of the Darling River. In the area of Mildura, this belongs to the Latchi Latchi tribe, and their language is much different to their language, but we are close neighbours. A long time ago, we would have known each other's language anyway, because that's how it was. And that was part of life and part of the law. You would have had to spoken 4 or 5 languages at the time, because all the surrounding areas, you got different tribes. They call it country, and each country you got a different tribe, and they speak different language.
My name's Johnny Murray, been born and bred here in Albury. Well, the mobs I connect with the Yorta Yorta and the Doodarowa nations. Start by acknowledging country, pay respects to my old people, past and present, and to those who will lead us in the future. Acknowledging country, is important to me because country is who we are, it's our identity. When we introduce ourselves as blackfellas or First Nation people, when people say, who are you? Well, I should be saying I am Yorta Yorta Doodarowa, because that's who I am. Johnny's just my name. But country is who we are, it's where everything comes from, it's where we get our identity from.
Our culture and heritage is so unique, not only because we're still living and practicing our culture, but of course it's the culture that we have, the history of 60,000 years and more, is really critical to our community. We represent just 3% of the total Australian population. So we need to encourage our young people to have education, to live in this world that they need to grow up in.
For Yorta Yorta people, country means everything to us. It's our identity and our cultural makeup. It feeds us our stories for our family and children, and sitting on country telling your stories to your next generation is an empowering elder model. But if we look at things like NAIDOC Week, when we all come home and celebrate NAIDOC Week on your own country, it's a different experience than being on someone else's country.
I think when you go to another area or another country which you don't belong to, you feel it there. You're not meant to be there, sort of thing. But I know for a fact that when you're growing up, you know where you've been to, you know where your boundaries are, and that's how you feel. You're welcome in your own country. Barkindji is a very big tribe, probably the second biggest tribe in New South Wales, but you got North Barkindji and you got Southern Barkindji, and it's pretty big on either side of the Darling River, but you got clans within.
We're always on country. It's just sometimes it's out in beautiful bushland area, or it could be under some concrete. What's unfortunate is I'm one of the 90+% Jara people that aren't able to live on country, and that's because of displacement, not really having that autonomy to choose to grow up on country. And when I say I'm going on country, people know that I'm returning home, and people know that, well, they will see that as I'm returning home to heal, I'm returning home to do business, I'm returning home to connect with my people. Immediately those I'm going on country, those 4 words tell a big story.
So I go bush to connect with country. Connecting with country helps me get strong, which then becomes my culture. When I dance and we share the stories of the dancers, that's our culture as well. Culture not shared is culture lost.
We never forget our past, we never forget our history, we never forget where we come from. Even if we moved to cities years ago, we still fought for our people back home. So our people are resistance fighters, but we're also proud people. And today we have a lot of achievements, both internationally and nationally and locally, and we value and cherish our elders and their experiences and we don't forget the suffering that they had to go through for that.
We had a person who come out here, they had a big map out, and they went to each family members, and they got a lot of information of where they went to. The map actually showed that we never moved at all. Like, we always still here at where our ancestors been, 40,000 years ago, Out here at Mungo, we got the most footprints in the world. We also got the oldest cremation in the world, which is Mungo Lady. She's been carbon dated, to be 42,000 years old. And to be cremated at that time, that was something that for us Aboriginal people, we didn't know they used to cremate their dead at the time. So this was something that they did 42,000 years ago.
Go and visit Yorta Yorta people's organisations. You can go to the Shepparton Art Museum, which has an Indigenous art gallery there, and the community is made up of more than Yorta Yorta people. There's Bangarang people as well. There's other people that are living from other country there as well. So there's Aboriginal organisations that you can always engage with, but read the media, go on social media, and attend NAIDOC week functions. Being Aboriginal doesn't mean it's just one day, it's there all the time. So if you got to Yorta Yorta country and in 6 months' time, something's going to be on or doing something. You can always just go to the river and go fishing and meeting people there as well. Always talk to Yorta Yorta people, talk to Bangarang people, talk to Aboriginal people. That's what you're supposed to be doing because you're on their country.
They got to respect the people, you got to respect the land, and you also got to respect the animals there. Whatever you do too, do not pick up anything, any rocks, stone, tools or bones. That's like a no-no because, you can get bad luck. Just a piece of rock, our ancestors might have tried to make a stone tool out of it. That's part of his possession, even though he, 40,000 years ago, that's still part of his possession, and if you take something away from here, you probably get bad luck. But also, you got to be careful of the animals around here. We got lovely animals out here, kangaroos, emus, but you got to be careful of snakes out here. We got, the most deadliest snakes out here. Try not to feed the animals too is another thing. Like, we got kangaroos out here. Don't feed them because they're living off their natural food anyway. Just respect the animals and just enjoy life looking and seeing what's out here.
I really encourage visitors to just be respectful when they are out in the bush. I'd probably say, go out on country where possible. Just get to understand the beauty of it, of our country, and find a place that is meaningful to them and for them to connect with it. We should be getting visitors and people who don't have much of an understanding of the area is to connect with our elders, the people who with all the knowledge.
We invite you to travel all over country across Australia because it is important for you not only to hear and learn but to see. And there are so many things that you probably are not able to see if you don't learn from us or you're not able to identify. So, there is lots of space on this country, and we always say that what we've been given, we all have a huge responsibility to care for. And that caring comes with just simple things, not throwing litter around because you'll block up the waterways. Like we now have here in Healesville, we have a beautiful plan to bring the platypus back, the eels back, the fish.
I think understand that, you're always on country. It's still Dja Dja Wurrung on country, even if it's not out in the bush and getting bitten by mozzies or whatever. Go out to those different spaces. You can look at the art and understand the story behind them. And a lot of them tell stories of country, a lot of them tell stories of our law. And that's a really great way you can learn about us as a people. It's really important to understand what you're doing. Are you being a consumer or are you being a contributor? And what does consuming look like? Understand what is happening in the community. We have different political things happening right now. Especially in Victoria, we're going through a treaty process. It's really important to listen and understand. So our aunties say, we have 2 of these and 1 of these for a reason. Listen twice as much as you speak. So listen, ask questions respectfully, and do what you can to redistribute wealth or spread awareness. I think that's something we can do to contribute to this space.
Standing here amongst the beautiful Manigum, where I've been able to live all my life, the beautiful waterways, is just one of those things that is so beautiful that we quite often look past that. It is a job of traditional owners, and I say a job because it's not just a responsibility, it's the way in which we continue to carry not only the survival of us, but survival of country. We're very lucky where we have many places and many people who really value what we've all been given. When we've had and been privileged and certainly honoured to have had history passed down to us, and from what we know, then we need to make sure that country will grow, will continue to grow, and that others will work with us to do that.